guys, and welcome to a new series on the channel. I almost said welcome back, but anyways, today we're going to start a brand new series called Build My Life. This is inspired by all the old Draw My Life videos in like 2012 through 2017, but nobody wants to see me draw. And over here we focus on building anyways. So in this series, I'll be going through random topics, whether that's a story to tell from my childhood or an experience like my first job, which will be today's video. Or maybe the one where I got adopted. Yeah, there's a bunch of stories in my life. And I think this series would be really cool, not only to build some unique stuff, but also so you guys could get to know me a little bit better. Anyways, today let's go over my first job, in air quotations. I think it was about 14 when I was actually able to start getting paid from said job. I know it was a long time ago now, but anyways, I think it was about 14 and I got a job at Summer Song, guys. You already know, Summer Song, the ice cream trucks, everything beautiful. Anyways, my grandparents were the managers of the branch in the city I lived, so whenever my mom, siblings, or myself needed any work, there was always plenty to do. It was a good job to earn some extra cash, and looking back at it now, not many kids or teens can say they got to work in the iconic ice cream truck line, guys. I was stocking up them trucks daily, hopping in that freezer. Let's get to it. Now, if we keep in mind that I was pretty young, this job, I didn't really have much responsibilities, because, you don't want your 14-year-old handling hundreds of dollars. It's probably not the best idea. You gotta make sure we know how to count and that we wouldn't, run away with some cheddar. Some of us young ones are also dumb ones, if you know what I'm saying. There were 2 shifts a day. You worked in the morning and at night. Of course, while I was younger, we didn't really work the night shifts because we had to be up and ready for school in the morning. And my mom was, she was firm on, hey, it's your bedtime. So we usually only worked the morning shifts until we got older. If you're a bold adult, oh, you could eat them hours up, I'll tell you. Anyways, we couldn't handle money, so we couldn't do too much at the shop. During the morning shifts, you started in the freezer. I remember the chill. If you've never been in a big ice cream freezer, it's cold. Real cold. The summers here are hot and humid, so it would feel nice, but staying in there for too long was too much without a jacket at least. And I also remember this guy named Dave. He would always smoke cigarettes in the freezer, and the smoke would just stagger. It would just stand there. I was very asthmatic as a kid, and it was not great. So to get into my actual job description, what I would do daily when I came into work, or I guess when my grandparents brought me into work, you'd hop in. By the time we got there, my grandpa had already been there for a couple of hours filling out what every truck needed. Every day, every truck has the same amount of ice cream when they go out, and they sell what they do, and then the next day, you have to replace what each truck sold. So we would go in, grab the sheet for each truck, read it out, and then pull whatever ice creams they needed, put them in a box, and then put that box in the truck. And then whoever was driving that truck for the day would put the box that's in their truck into their truck's freezer. You can't really sell ice cream if there's no ice cream to sell, is what I used to tell myself. Now, this job I had off and on, it's only a summertime job. No one buys or sells ice cream in the winter. So every time there was a winter, we could go on to real jobs, at least when we got a little bit older. When I was old enough to handle the money and sort of drive, I guess, we could start doing the night shifts. And it's quite a different job at the nighttime, I'll tell you that much. But there were 2 main tasks. Someone collected all the money the drivers made and gave the driver their little cut. And someone parked all the ice cream trucks. Now, back when I was a bit younger, I was terrified to do this. It was a dark parking lot, all gravel with railroad, I think they're called railroad ties, these big wooden blocks. And you had to back each ice cream truck in. And I was always terrified that I would hit a different ice cream truck and, it would have just been the end of the world, or at least it would have been in my mind. So my sister is always the one who was backing the trucks in and going to park them. I was not there for it. I was like, no, that's terrifying. I don't want to crash. I can't back these up. I can't see. I can barely reach the pedals. And that was pretty much the nighttime tasks. After all the drivers got their cuts, you would count up everything, bag it up, safe it, all that stuff, and then the next morning you would take it to the bank. And by you, I mean my grandparents. Once again, we were a bit young still. Anyways, for the most part, day to day, the job was exactly the same. Of course, every morning you would have a little bit different of an ice cream amount to pull out or how many of each, because you don't sell the same exact ice creams every day or in the same amounts. It was definitely a cool job to have while I was a kid though. Anyways, if you made it this far into the story, you might be slightly interested in some more parts of funny moments in my life, and this one is funny and slightly traumatic. I remember one day, I'm pretty sure it was before I was old enough to work here, but we were always at the shop. If my grandparents were ever babysitting, if my mom was working there, we were always around the shop. From kids, before we could handle any responsibilities. Anyways, we were real young, and I may have accidentally got the ice cream truck place, swatted, in a way. It wasn't swatting in a literal sense, but I was young, and my grandma had this button. Yeah, the button. This is one of those things where your grandparents look at you sternly and really try to connect with your soul, and they say, don't touch it. Some of you guys understand where this is already going. My grandma really tried. The button called to me as a young one. I was haunted by the phantom need to touch this button. When she said no, it made me want to do it even more. I can't remember what we were doing. I really can't tell you the circumstances in which I felt finally touched the button. I just know a few days after she made the restriction, I broke it. Guys, I pressed the button. Anyways, I pressed this button, and I don't remember what happened. I remember I was crying. I don't know if we were fighting, or if I got yelled at, I got in trouble, I don't remember, but I was crying. Keep in mind, I'm a very young kid, and I was hiding under one of the desks at the ice cream place. Maybe 10 minutes after I felt the satisfaction of the win, pressing that button. The real I did that moment. Police started swarming the building. They assumed there was a robber or something, since an elderly woman attached button. They came ready to handle the situation quickly. You're a child who pressed the dreaded button. Of course you think you're going to jail. Guys, it was terrifying. I remember being under these desks. There was 3 police that came into this room that I was in, and they said, come out with your hands up. And I was like, oh my God, what's happening? I'm crying. I'm terrified. I come out from under the desk. I have my hands up, and they're like, who are you? What are you doing here? I'm like, my grandma and grandpa are the managers. I'm here. Please, can I talk to my grandma? And you already know I got in trouble for pressing the button. And now that I'm old, I realize, wasted the cops' time, all that stuff. But I had to go get my grandma. And luckily, she calmed the whole situation. She was like, listen, the kid's a little stupid. He pressed the button. I'm sorry for wasting y'all's time. And then I'm pretty sure I got grounded. Now, I'm sorry I can't tell you a story of young old me going to jail for pressing my grandma's life alert, but I had the scare of a lifetime before I started to work at that place. But come to think of it, it was pretty cool. I worked at the ice cream truck. I got all the police to come looking for me in a way. But guys, I think that's going to wrap up this story. Hopefully you enjoyed this video format. If you did and you want to see more content like this, I have a ton of more stories to tell you guys. Oh man, make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Have a great day. Later.